Hello and welcome to this video which explains how to take things from one list and put them into another list and first reading things from an external file. Basically, this is what you are trying to achieve, or rather, this is the example that I'm giving you guys, and it's up to you to try to get this to happen as best as you can. So that's what we're going to have a look at. So this is what we've got. Here is a list of fruit. Here are the names of the fruit. Here's how much the fruit costs. And then what I've done here, I've put out a print line. So I've printed the contents of the list, or I've printed the list. And then what I've done is I've printed each element individually. And then from there I'm saying, what do I want to buy? Well, I want to buy a banana. So I'm going to press 1 and it's thrown an error. Fruit laced is not defined anyhow, it's giving me an error. So we'll get there. So what's happened here, hang on, let me just pause this. Okay. I changed something there. That's a typo. That happens to the best of us. Okay, so like I said, I want to buy item number 1. We're going to see a problem with this because it's going to tell me that I've just bought an apple. And we know apple is the second item there, but we'll talk about that later. So now it's displaying, so it's saying this is what I've taken, and this is what I put in my bag. Shopping, put in bag, plastic bag, anyhow. And then I've gone and put another list. So this is kind of like the items that are available for purchase. So what we're going to do, we're going to code something very similar to this. I'm going to do this on the fly, and we're going to see how it goes. So I'm going to go to this. So, and I'm going to say, so here in this new Python file, what I'm going to do, I want to open a file. File equals open, and I am opening a file for reading. That file is called fruit.txt. From there, I'm saying I'm also going to create 2 lists. One is going to be a fruit list, so it has a list of fruit, and I'm going to have a bag list, which is the bag that I'll be putting things in. So that's what we've got there. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take every line from this file, from this fruit text file. I'm going to put it into the fruit list. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to need a for loop for that. So I'm going to say for line in file fruit list dot append line, and we'll print these out as we go. So this file, we call it whatever we want. It's a variable name. That's what we've got there, and that's what we're using there. So for each line in file, we're going to append the line to the fruit list. So we're going to add that there. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to print out the fruit list. Print fruit list. So now I'm going to file, save this, save as. I'm going to call this list. Sorry, file and lists. So now I'm going to run this, and press F5, and I'm going to run it, and there we see. So we've got, that's the first one. So that is just the raw list. So from there now, what I want to do is to show you guys how I did this part here where I displayed the items individually. So for that, what I do is I say for I in fruit list print I. So this is a variable that only exists in this loop. And I'm saying print I. So what it's going to do, it's going to cycle through each element in this list, and it's going to print them out one by one. So I'm going to run that now as well. So F5. So here we've got our first element, prints out in the first line. Here we've got our second element, prints out in the next line, and here we've got our third element, prints out on the third line. So that's what we've got working there. Now, from there, what we want to do is we want to ask the user what they want to buy. So we're going to say print, what do you want to buy? and then I'm going to give the user a choice. And what I'll do is I'll type in 1, 2, or 3, and then it'll give us and then it'll tell us what they want to buy. So now what we have to do is we're going to make a new variable. We're going to call it taken item, and what that is going to be. Now remember, this is input as a string, so we're going to have to turn it into an integer, and we can do that in one line. So what we're doing now, we're taking an item, and we're going to choose the item from that list. So take an item, what I'm going to do fruit list, and I'm going to use square brackets to find the particular item that I'm after. So now I'm going to say int choice. So what that's saying is that the taken item, so I made a variable here called taken item, and I'm going to look at the fruit list, and I'm going to take the number, so I'm converting choice to an integer, and so whatever number is input here, it's going to take that number. So it's going to copy the number that it finds in the fruit list. It's going to store it in the taken item. So to check that working, I'm going to say print taken item. So imagine going to the shop and you're holding this in your hand. So now we're going to say F5. I'm going to run this. Fingers crossed it works. Okay. So here's my list of things. So here's my original list. Here's everything one by one. I want to buy. I don't know, a banana. I'm going to press 1. Now saying I've bought an apple. What do you think that is? I'll let you guys think about that. In the next video, we're going to see how we can make it so that we can, oh no, sorry, we've also got to add this. So in this video, we're going to continue and see how long this video is going for. Oh, it's 7 minutes, yep, okay. So the next thing we're going to do is now we're going to take this item and we're going to put it into the bag. So, and how do we do that? We use append. So what we do is we say bag list dot append. We're going to say take an item. And what we're going to do first is we're going to print you have in your bag. I'm going to say comma, I think it's comma, because the comma plus, I can't remember. Bag list. So we're printing that once. That should either be empty or should throw an error. If it throws an error, just delete that line next. So print, and I'm going to copy this exact same one. So I'm going to put that there. So what I'm doing here, I'm showing you, hopefully, that we're just holding an item, we print a list, there's nothing in the list yet, but then once we actually put it in our bag, it's going to come out in the bag list. So we may get an error, we may have an error thrown here, or firstly we may have an error thrown here because I used the comma and I should use the plus, find that out in a second. We could have an error because there's nothing in the bag list. So if that gives us an error, well then we'll deal with that. But here we should definitely get something, unless of course we've got our error here. But let's run it and let's see what happens. So what do I want to buy? Let's buy a banana. Pressing 1. Still do that. Okay, great. Okay, so here, this is the contents of the list. Nothing there. Great. After it gets put in there, that's the contents of the list. That's what we want. That's what we're after. Okay, so that's the start for us. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to make the things appear like more like a menu or like a catalog, as it were.